Rob Reynosa began his spiritual awakening journey in 2011 whilst discovering his passion and purpose in life. He hit wall after wall, but kept going because he knew deep in his heart there was something more to life than the typical 9-to-5 jive. He has spent countless hours studying the human mind, universal laws, metaphysics, and anything he could get his hands on that had to do with human potential, intuition, and personal development. Rob has been dedicating his life to uncovering and activating his own personal power so that he can teach others to do the same. He's a conscious lifestyle coach, a writer, and a thought leader who is obsessed with helping others achieve their version of success. Their life by conscious design. Rob, are you ready to rock the house? Awesome. You are now live on the air, bro. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come on here and share the value and with all the things that you're up to. Super, super grateful to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. Like, it's awesome that you do this whole entire 12-hour spread and all these wonderful people on here. That's amazing. When I first saw that 12 hours, I was like, holy crap, he has something lit inside of him, this endless source of fuel. That's amazing. That's pretty cool.
Yes, bro, yes. We're tapping in. And, dude, let's hear more about your journey because we want to know what got you to where you are today. What had you awaken? What had you be the person you are today, sharing this message, empowering people to live a life by design?
Yeah, so, back in 2011, like you had said, I was on this journey of trying to find something deeper, something more meaningful to my life. And I didn't know, I don't know where it came from, but it was just this urge that was just like brewing inside of me. And I was trying one thing after another. I was into fitness back then, and I still am now, but I was into fitness and clean eating and juicing and just trying one endeavor after another. And I loved it. I loved every single journey, every single road I took. And the purpose that was behind all of it was always because I was realizing and learning that these different what's the right word to use? But these different industries were being controlled and manipulated to basically control the masses. So you have all these foods that have GMOs, and you have all these different types of things that were being used to basically control the way people think and live and live their lives, and causing diseases and whatnot. And I was just like, no, this can't happen. This can't be. And so that's what got me. That was the purpose that was driving, was basically to help people, like just to help people free themselves. And then finally, the last endeavor that I took was juicing, and I was a fanatic about it. I actually had a little hustle going on where I was selling it out of my car and just, making juices at home and selling them to my friends and the people I knew. And one night I just stayed up for about a good, I guess it was probably from about like 5 in the afternoon till about 6 in the morning, just juicing all night. And I was done. I was tired. And I ended up selling half of the juices. And I said, no, I don't want to do this. Like, this is fun. Like, I love the idea, but I don't want to keep doing this. Yeah. There's something else. Like, there's something else. And it just hit me. It just clicked. And there was a quote that something along the lines where if you control the food, if you control how people eat, you can control nations. Yeah. And something else came into my awareness that if you control the way people think, you can control a whole entire race, a whole entire human race. And I was like, whoa, what is that about? And at this time, I was going through my spiritual awakening, which I didn't know what it was. But this whole entire, I guess what you want to call it, like an awakening of a consciousness, or you're becoming more aware, self-aware. And I started reading everything that I could get my hands on that had to do with metaphysics, Napoleon Hill's teaching, Andrew Carnegie's teachings, anything and everything that had to do with that realm. And it blew my mind. It just became an obsession of mine. And I already have like this obsessive behavior type thing where I find something I'm passionate about and I just keep going. And, the more I dug, the more I realized how much I was living a lie, and how much of my life was just made up of all these different illusions. And it was an awakening. It was a massive awakening. And my life literally fell apart. It crumbled. And it was the best thing that ever happened. It really was, because when that happened, I saw the truth. I saw light behind that. And I was able to have a choice now, and not just live into this pre-programming, but actually have a choice. Like, what do I want to do with my life now? Like, now I know where this drive is coming from, but now what is it that I really want to do? And long story short, I was listening to a song, and it was a song by Jay-Z, and I love hip hop, I love rap, And there was one lyric that says something about, we keep topping what we top, yet to see a ceiling. And it just clicked. I mean, I heard this song 30 million times, but this one lyric just stood out. I'm like, yet to see a ceiling. Like, you just keep going higher and higher. Like, there's no ceiling. Like, what is that about? And so I love The Matrix. I don't know if you've ever seen The Matrix before. Yeah. There's a scene where the kid says there is no spoon. He bends the spoon, and it basically means that, you know, the spoon is a part of the matrix, and it doesn't really exist. You don't bend the spoon with your mind. You bend your mind around what's going on. Like, you change your mindset, and it just hit me. Like, there is no ceiling. There is no spoon. Oh my God, it's based on how you think. Holy crap! And so, like, that's what it was. Like, that's what sprouted that, or gave birth to this whole entire movement. And you know, since then, I've just been trying to develop myself and really just become more self-expressed. And, you know, you and I come from that the landmark background, and going through, the leadership program, that was a huge thing, was being self-expressed. Yes. I was not self-expressed. There was an exercise that we did, the self-expression, the workshop. Yep. And I dry heaved. Like, I was about to throw up because there was something locked inside of me that wanted to come out. And I was just like, whoa, what is this? And ever since then, it was like I was writing, I was blog posting and whatnot, and my writing was very superficial at the time. And when I had that experience, it was like the ceiling got taken off, and my writing got deeper and deeper. And, you know, through meditations and just through life experiences, I was able to tap in, and I still am. I'm able to tap into this, I wouldn't say darkness, but this depth, like my soul. You know, I believe that my spirit just has all these truths unlocked. And I built a community around that, just being vulnerable and just really spilling my guts out, just like boom, and writing stories around it, and just being able to connect with people. Because, I mean, you know, these people that I'm connecting with, my family, like the conscious creators, they all want to say these things. They all want to be, you know, connected to something, and being able to express myself in this way that I didn't know was possible. I didn't even consider myself a writer. I just started writing 3 years ago, man. Like, this is new to me. And, the levels that I've been achieving with it is just mind-blowing. And in that aspect, I really am living into my brand, where there is no ceiling, and I just keep topping what I top. You have to see a ceiling with that. So yeah, that's been my journey so far, man.
Dude, that is epic. And I feel like we can all resonate with some of that at some level, right? With your story at some level. We all have that feeling like, hey, you know, I'm not really diving into the deepest depths of my potential. Like, I know there's deeper amounts, but I have this awareness that there's something blocking me. What's blocking me? Well, it's this ceiling that a lot of people have put into their minds, or has been put into their minds by society or programming or whatever it might be. And to be able to get past that, and to have our minds be past that, and to dive into that. I love that you studied all this stuff, Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie, metaphysics, because that's really showing that you care so much about finding the answers, finding these truths, that you're willing to do the research. So I'm curious, what do you encourage people out there to do to be able to find their own truths?
Well, you're actually a really good listener, because you said it. You actually said it in your first sentence, where you re-quoted me and said, you know, what is this? Like, I feel a block here. There's a block here. What is this? That is the single most important thing I believe anybody could ever do. That's a high level of self-awareness, is become aware that there's that was my fault. the energy is like rapid over here.
It's too much.
It's real. I'm using this new tripod right now, and it's working okay. It's gonna get better.
It's all perfect.
Yeah. If I have to, I'll just hold it. But hold on, let's get this adjusted here. I think it'll be all right. Yeah, you know, that was what you were saying is it. Like, that is probably one of the single most important things you could do. I got all sweaty right now. is to really ask yourself, like, become aware. Like, if you're aware that there's something blocking you, if you feel nervous about making a move, like asking a woman out on a date, or asking somebody out, or, you know, making a cold.
we just gotta laugh at ourselves sometimes, man.
Yeah. That's funny. Well,
so,
okay.
You're talking about asking a woman out on a date.
Oh, there you are. That was my screen. Yeah. So, yeah, just, you know, if it's something that's taking you out of your comfort zone, if you're just aware that you feel fear in some way, and you feel it, you're aware of it. That's already the first step. Most people go through life and they're kind of just, like tiptoeing and like, oh, I don't know how to do this, or, I'm just going to sit down and watch TV and, I don't know, we'll see, it'll work itself out. But if you're aware of it, like that's what happened when I found some personal development courses. It's like, there's something blocking me. Like there's something not right. I feel it. What is that? What do I need to know? And I would ask that, what do I need to know? What do I need to do next? What's the next best move? Those are the key phrases I use all the time. What do I need to know? What's the next best move for me? And then something, boom, will pop up. Either an idea, some sort of flash. Literally, I've had people come up to me and say, hey, did you hear about this course? So I met somebody at this bike shop, and she's like, hey, did you hear about this course? I was like, no, but thank you. I'm going to look into it. And I ended up taking the course.
Wow.
And it changed my whole entire life. But yeah, so I think that's one of the most important things that anybody could do is just ask yourself, what is going on here? What do I need to know? And one of the best way to be in that state of awareness, I believe, is to practice stillness, is to practice meditation. Because, our minds, basically it's like being tugged at the leg, being tugged at the sleeve and the arm every single day by social media, by all these distractions everywhere, right? I mean, even the little like notifications that come from the top bar of the phone, like the little tweets, the little everything, all the updates, that takes you out of your focus. And if you really want to be intentional about anything, you really need to be still a majority part of the day. And that's a battle in itself, because like I said, you have all these distractions. But for those who are listening and who tune in later, I actually have it's a newsletter series. It's a reality creation series that I'm coming out with, and the first one's out already. And in there, I address the here and now. And everybody wants to learn how to manifest. How do I create? How do I manifest these big things and these wonderful things? And they miss the most important step. No, the most important step, which is living in the here and now, like being present and really drawing back your attention. For example, I can go on tangents.
Bring it on, baby.
So, for example, I was helping my friend the other day, and I was coaching her through what her thing that she was dealing with, and she was anxiety all the time, and she feels like she needs to be doing something that's more meaningful with her life. Like she has this purpose to live into. She doesn't know what to do, and then if I'm not connected with it, if I don't feel like I know where I'm going, I get scared and I feel like I'm a loser and all this stuff, right? All like the typical things that all of us go through. I go through it too every single day. It's just a matter of managing it, basically. And so she says, sometimes I just can't even go outside. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I give her this analogy that basically it's like you have the power within, this higher source, whatever it is that you want to call it. But you have this all-knowingness within you where all these ideas sprout from, this energy that you're able to use and tap into for 12 hours straight. Like it's we have access to this. However, if we're out here, if we're way out here thinking about all these other things, doubting ourselves, questioning ourselves, being sucked into all the dramas and whatever else is happening, I call it you're away from home. Like you're far away from home. And when you're far away from home, you can't connect with yourself. You can't connect with that infinite intelligence that's like waiting. It's waiting for you to ask the question, like, what do I need to do? What's the next best step? And it's like higher self is like, thank you. God damn, thank you, finally. Now just chill for a minute. Let me figure some things out, and I'll put some signals, put some signs in your way, like synchronicity or whatever it is that might be for you, and an idea. But if you aren't still, if you're not in the here and now with yourself, and you're out here looking for answers with other people, that's another example that we do all the time, another mistake. You miss out. You really miss out on like I said, this source energy, this infinite intelligence. Wow. So I really hope someone does that and takes that home with them, because it helps me out so much. So
I love that, and I want to get your perspective on focusing on stillness, meditation, being present, and being in flow, right? Because they almost seem like they contradict each other. Stillness and flow. When I think of flow, I think of moving. When I think of stillness, I think of being still. So how do you I guess perceive those and talk about those?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's perfect. So flow, from my perspective, flow is when you are instead of moving really fast or making my bad. Instead of making a bunch of moves and here and there, like rushing, you're making quantum leaps. Like you're literally in flow.
And to be in that state of flow, you have to be still, meaning your mind has to be still. Not physically still, but your mind has to be centered. You have to be conscious. You have to be aware. So like if there's something happening around you and everybody's stressing out, like, for example, let's say, growing up, your dad couldn't find his keys. Where are my keys at? And everybody's like, oh my God, where are the keys? Where are the keys? Where are the keys? And you're getting all frantic and you're just like chilling. You're like, you know what? We're going to find the keys. Don't worry. It's going to pop up. And everybody's saying, why aren't you moving and looking for the keys? And you're just kind of being calm. You're like, we'll find them. And then poof, oh, hey, they're under the couch. They're here the whole time. That's being in flow as well. Like you're not reacting. You're being in control. You're being conscious. So being still is being conscious. It's being present in here and now. And when you're in the here and now, you see the most important steps to take, not just the little tiny ones where it's like, oh yeah, this looks good. Oh, this looks good. This looks good. But you see the ones that will take you to the next level, where people see you and they're like, how is he doing this? What's going on? How are you doing these things? It's like you're being still, like you're being present and you're listening. Does that make sense?
Yes. And would you say that that's the mindset that got you, you have a pretty big following on Instagram? I would say really big. And some people would say, well, millions really big. But like you're doing awesome on Instagram. Like what was it that created the synchronicity, the being in flow, the stillness to have the awareness of what to talk about and to attract the people? Like how did that happen?
I've been told by my girlfriend not to say this, but because I was about to share this with a bunch of people one time when they were asking me some questions, and she's like, don't say this part. I don't even know what I'm doing, to be honest.
Yeah, totally.
From day one, I don't know what I'm doing, and I almost quit a dozen times before it even took off. Like even I feel like quitting every day sometimes in my mindset for like a second. I'm like, wait, I'm doing good. It's cool. I'm just being real,
Yeah.
But it's from not knowing what to do, I've been open to what's next. I've been open to intuition and to the signs and whatnot. And so this might seem kind of like far-fetched, but being able to, like, I've always had these intuitive dreams, like these very vivid dreams. And that's my gift. Like, that's what I know to do. That's how I know to harness my gift. And so when I go to sleep at night, I write down questions. I write down requests. Like, how do I do this? How do I be shown this? Napoleon Hill talks about this. He had a council of 12 people that he would have a meeting with in his mind. Go to sleep with these questions and then pop up with the answers. 100% accurate. Nikola Tesla, the same exact thing. In many of his books, he talks about doing this. He's like, I go to sleep at night. I write down, or before I go to sleep, I write down requests. How do I perfect this invention here? Boom, an idea comes to him in the middle of the night. He writes down on the pad of paper. So for me, the turning point.
And real quick, can I pause you right there? Like, keep that, the turning point. Remember that. Because another thing is, I heard Napoleon Hill also said, if you give your mind a subconscious command to wake up at a certain time in the morning, right? Like, subconscious mind, wake me up at 4 a.m. for whatever, right? And it feels good. You're empowered by it. It'll do it. Your subconscious mind will do it. So I want to add to that, just in case, and let me know if this is what you think as well. Write down the question before you go to bed. How do I solve this problem? How do I make this happen? What can I do to accelerate myself? And then also tell your subconscious mind, wake me up in the middle of the night when you find the freaking answer.
Yeah, so that's true. I think what a lot of people, they battle, like their battles is they'll wake up and they'll remember it, but they'll go back to sleep, or they'll wake up and like, whoa, what was that about? And they're too lazy to get. I've done this so many times where I'm like, I'll remember this in the morning, and then it's gone.
No way.
Yeah. So I've tried every way to not get up. I've even tried to reverse it out loud, like, oh yes, so I do this and I say this, and then it slips my mind. So yeah, when you do that and you know that you have trouble even getting up, tell yourself, you know what, I have the power to get up. Like, give me that power to get up and actually write it down.
Yes.
Because this is the world to me, and that intention alone will help you get through that part too.
Boom.
So,
Boom. Love it. Okay, perfect. Back to the turning point.
Yeah. So how I built this audience and based off of what I wrote and my connection and my message, I was at a point where I was about to quit. This is probably the closest I ever got to it. And I was like, I don't know what to do next. I feel like I'm going nowhere. I don't know what to say. I don't know who to express. Like, there's people that say, oh, I love your post, but I wasn't even writing anything meaningful at the time. Like to some people it was, but to me it could be better.
Right.
And I asked for a sign, and for some reason I pulled the book The Secret off my shelf. It just kind of like was glowing to me in this way. I pulled it down off the shelf and I opened up to a random page, and Michael Bernard Beckwith, he had a passage in there, and he says, we're these infinite beings, we have limitless potential, we literally have no ceiling. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I started laughing and then I started crying. I was like, whoa, okay, I get it, I hear you, like I'm not going to stop. And then so it was that night I went to sleep. I asked for another sign, like, how do I do this? How do I go through this? Long story short, this whole entire dream, this tsunami is coming in my dream. And like I said, I wake up sweaty. I wake up like as if I was just running or actually physically active. This tsunami was coming in. I'm running. Long story short, I end up climbing up to this big, huge mountain. And when I get to the top, there was a woman that came up to me, and she was sitting next to me. She's like, how are we going to share this message with the world? No one's going to believe us. And I said out loud, I was like, well, I have to write about it. I have to write about these struggles on how we got here. And then, boom, I woke up. And I was like, just write about your struggles, write about your journey. Like, that's all, just write about that. And even then, it took me 6 months to even start doing that because I doubted that process. Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But as soon as I started doing that, that's when I started connecting with people. And I think that's the most important thing. If your question is around also how to build an audience, is to connect with their hearts. Because when you connect with their hearts, it's like you build an actual relationship with them. You get what I'm saying? And being able to like connect to their hearts means being vulnerable. I mean, just really just being fully self-expressed and being raw and uncut. And I feel like that's been my goal, just being able to do that. So I see people like Gary Vee, who's 100% raw, and he has a massive audience. And I really believe that, like, speaking from your heart, that's it. That's where it's at.
Dude, that's awesome. So that's the thing that you would say has been the biggest factor to getting you to success and to attracting people to you and to having this, I would say, like this owning your power vibration.
Yeah, well, I would have to say the biggest factor, the biggest part is actually listening and acting to my intuition, listening and acting on it. Because if you can listen to it, but if you don't act on it, like me, I waited for a long time, another 6 months to actually make a move, then nothing's going to happen. So, that's where the courage comes in too, because sometimes these ideas that come to mind where you get these flashes of inspiration, and I'm sure a lot of listeners get these ideas like, oh my God, it's a good idea, but how's that going to work? That's where you kill it. Like, that's where you just like, you wipe yourself out.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know how. You don't need to know how. You just need to get in the motion of it. And the next step's going to be provided to you. And that's why I say it's like, I always say it to myself, or I ask myself, what's the next best step? What do I do next in this situation? Because I don't know. Right now, I look crazy, and people are asking me, boom, boom, boom. I don't know what to do. What do I do? And bam, it comes to me.
Wow. Dude, that's awesome, awesome, awesome. And we had Robert Riopel said, that is why sticky notes were invented, so that you can keep them near you, write it down. That is a clue, because Robert was on earlier, he's talking about a clue. That's awesome. And then I also wanted to ask, how do you filter between a quote-unquote good idea and a bad idea, something that is in track and in alignment with your greatest possible self, highest self, and something that's just like, is a passing thought? Do we get random thoughts that aren't quote unquote meant for us right here, right now, or how do you interpret those?
Yeah, totally. I get a lot of random ideas that are good ideas, and I've made I guess you could say it was a mistake of chasing these different ideas and then spreading myself out too thin. When you have like a definite goal, meaning like you have a destination that you're going for, you're going to get a bunch of different, it's kind of like this. I always like to use analogies. Like if you're going down a stream, like a big river, and there are all these boats and different homes and different restaurants, vendors, they're all giving you things and trying to sell you things and present things to you that are in alignment with that flow, that might necessarily where you want to go. So what I've done is I've chased these things. I'm like, oh man, now I'm doing this. I don't want to do this anymore. And I have to retract that and then get back in alignment. The positive side to that, though, is that you learn something new. So sometimes taking those little paths, taking those little journeys, getting sidetracked, it actually is beneficial in some ways.
And I've never regretted it, really. I said it's a mistake, but I never had any regrets around chasing those little things, but because I've learned something about myself, and it's added to me. It's added to my wholeness. But your question was, how do you distinguish between a good idea or a bad idea? And sometimes it just comes down to trying it out. Yeah. If it's taking you too far off the path, or if it doesn't feel right, like, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. But even if it does feel right, and you're but I'm kind of like scared, but it feels good though, go for it. I think that's something that is so still overlooked. They don't teach you this in school. They teach you how to memorize and think with your right mind, or think with your left mind, your analytical mind. But to feel, to really feel that.
Intuition.
Intuition. And it's not the type of feeling where it's like, I don't feel like doing this because I'm tired. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's the story. That's different. But does it feel right, though? Like, regardless if I'm tired or not, does it feel right? Yeah, it does. It feels right. And I've never regretted any of those. I'm so glad. There were some things I turned down that felt right. And I was like, man, I wish I would have done that. Like, I really wish I did, because you could see it unfolding later on, but it's too late, So, did that answer your question?
Yeah, you did. That's awesome. Yeah. And by the way, for everyone who's out there listening, Rob is here for another, let's say, 30 minutes or so. If you have questions for him, make sure you ask. And also, if you're just tuning in, make sure that you share this video so that, one, more people can hear about these great ideas, hear about Rob and Robert, who's coming up next. And we got a lot of great speakers, but also so that you can be entered into the drawing to win $50 to Amazon. And we're going to be doing that drawing at the end of tonight between 8 and 9 p.m. So, Rob Reynosa.
Yes.
So let's keep diving in. I want to hear, what do we do to create this lifestyle, this conscious lifestyle? What else do we need to know about that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. That's a really good question. The conscious lifestyle. I think the most important part to this really is to literally tune out what the world's saying that you need to do. Because if you start tuning in and chasing every suggestion that's given to you, like I said, you're going to get taken out of your course. You're going to be taken off your path. I believe that we have a path that feels right, that feels best to us. I don't believe there's any right path, but there's a path that feels good to you. If you ignore what feels good to you, you're on the wrong path. You're no longer being that conscious creator. And from my perspective as being a conscious creator is, you're being aware of yourself. You're being aware, first of all, of your gifts and your talents. Like, what am I good at? What am I really good at? Like, for example, you and I are both good communicators. So if I'm a good communicator, what's next? What can I do with this? What opportunities are here? And, you're taking action right now. You're doing great with this.
Thank you.
You don't know what's going to unfold for you. And that's the most badass part here, is that you don't know what's going to unfold. And if you just keep doing this, and does it feel right to you?
Oh, it feels freaking amazing. It's my baby.
Yeah. And if you just stick to this,
yes.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Because what's happening is, and I'll go back to, how do you live a more conscious lifestyle? But what happens, though, when you're feeling good and you're doing this day in and day out, that vibration of feel good is being pumped out. And it's always being matched. It's kind of like, when you stub your toe in the morning and you're like, oh, man. And then you bang your head on the mirror, like, what the hell's going on? And you're in that negative vibratory state. Yes. And you know what I mean? Yeah. And then you hit every red light, and, all this stuff's happening because you're in this mindset. This negative mindset. What's happening when you're, living something, you're doing something that you love. And you're like, yes, I can't wait to do this. I'm going to do it for 12 hours and kick ass. And that is being reflected back to you. And like I said before, you do not know what is in store for you. We can only see 0.1% of what's out there. We're literally only conscious of that 0.1%. 99.99% of everything and anything that exists is out of our conception. We can't even perceive it. It's beyond us. And the only way we can start tapping into that is doing what feels right. Just being conscious, being present, being here and now. How do I feel? I feel good. What's the next best step? Just keep doing what you're doing. Are you sure? Am I doing enough? Yes, you're doing enough. Just keep going. You get what I'm saying? You have this inner dialogue. Just keep tapping into it. But like I said, once you start taking in all these other suggestions, hey, maybe you're just wasting your time, or hey, you could be doing something else better, or hey, it's okay, do you, go, you tune in, but just, I'm gonna to keep doing this, and we'll see what happens. That's the mindset around that. And I feel also, when it ties into being like a conscious eater, someone who cares about their diet and how they look and how they dress. People say, oh, the best way to be conscious is to be vegan. Maybe that's not the case for you, though. Like, maybe being vegan requires a lot of stuff to be shipped over, and you use a lot of fossil fuel to carry over these products from overseas, and it actually does more damage than good. Maybe it's best to just kind of use what's in your area. Use what foods are there, what the choices, the best conscious choices. Again, it comes back to just being centered, being who you really are, true to yourself, because you and I and everybody here in this world has this magical design that nobody else can tell us what to do with it. Only we can tell ourselves what to do with it. And the way we can direct ourselves is being conscious, being disciplined, and saying, yes, this feels right. I want this. Let's go.
Damn. Damn. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I love it. So we have some comments. We had Vero Gomez said, hello, Rob Reynosa. Awesome sharing. We had Laura Sparaco said, Chris, you're bringing amazing people together, referring to you, Rob, and other guests. So awesome. Awesome. So, dude, let's keep diving in. In terms of creating a lifestyle, like what do we need to know to accelerate our progress to make that happen? In addition to listening to our intuition and developing that, like what else do we need to know? How do we get there quicker? How do we remove the obstacles, get past the blind spots, the people, the environments that we're in? What else do we need to know?
Well, one thing that I learned, or I'm learning right now, and you said it a few times here, is how do I get there quicker? How do I do things faster? How do I accelerate? That basically, you're insinuating that what's happening right now isn't that good enough.
Ooh.
Like, it's not good enough. You know what I mean? It's kind of a trap, right? But there is a push-pull to it. Like, there literally is a push-pull. Like, I want to do more. I want to be more expressed. I want to tap into this deeper. I want to go, but I don't have fun. You get what I'm saying? But if you're looking at it man, I'm not doing enough. How do I do more? How do I, do this and do that, go faster? But being in that state of appreciation, it all comes down to mindset. It's okay to want to go faster. It's okay to want to do more. It's perfect. But the mindset of, I'm happy right now. I'm stoked about what's happening. Although, a part of me, I'm not fulfilled all the way because I know I could be more. I know I could do more. So, again, it comes back to being self-aware. And knowing, though, that there's nothing lacking, you have everything going for you right now. But to answer your question is to really start setting these goals for yourself that make no sense. Literally, they just make no sense. And there's something that I've been adapting from Grant Cardone. You know who that is, Grant Cardone?
Absolutely. Amazing.
That dude is amazing. I don't care what anybody says about him. I love that dude so much. One day I'm going to be working alongside of him and being, he's amazing.
It's so funny. I want to share my perspective on that because he's the drive, the physical, manly, masculine, totally archetype, right? And when I think of consciousness, I think of flow and trusting and surrender. And I totally don't see Grant as that, surrender. I totally see him as forcing, brute forcing his way through. So I just wanted to share that. And I totally love the guy. He's awesome.
That's great. And that fits into that whole push and pull.
Yeah.
I'm holding my phone up, so I can't really do it right now. But if you think about it, the push is here and the pull's here. And what does that do? It's a flow.
Yeah.
It's still a flow. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's knowing when to go in and then going hard. Boom, 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 because it feels good. You can, for example, I've stayed up plenty of times and I've written till 4 a.m, 5 a.m. in the state of trance. And it doesn't feel like work. Anybody that's looking at me, they're like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you torturing yourself? Doesn't your hand hurt? What's going on? Your eyes are bloodshot. You have weird things coming out of your nose. What's happening to you? You know what I mean? It's but it feels good, though. I can keep going. Paulo Coelho says the same thing. And he's someone that inspires me to the max.
Yeah,
and he says, he can write for sometimes 18 hours straight. And he just loves it. He's in that state of flow. But it's not necessarily this grudge, put your nose to the grind, I'm hustling, I'm going for it. It's I'm loving what I'm doing. And when you're tapped into that, that's the magic. That's where the acceleration comes in. And I'm sure you've heard of, for example, The Alchemist, also written by Paulo Coelho, was written, I believe, in 1 or 2 days.
What?
That comes from flow. That comes in from tapping into that. But that comes from also the square one, like the first step, here and now, tapping into it, like just being tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and then it's given to you. It's like these ideas come and you just run with it. So I think that might answer your question, and I think I just had some insights too for myself saying that. Yeah, because as I'm talking, I'm also channeling. I'm allowing things to flow in, and some people tell me, they're like, you should prepare for these things. I'm like, no, I get nervous, I get super sweaty like I am now, but then it just flows. It just flows, And
well, it's all perfect. I think like there's this balance. You're speaking to what you're dealing with, what you're experiencing, what's going on in your life. You're speaking to what you think the audience has going on in their life, what would most benefit for them. So it's like this constant, like, when I get there, I'll know that it's the right thing, and I'll just trust that everything will come out perfectly.
Right. Yeah. And it's also like a great idea, if we're going to use Grant Cardone and just conscious awareness, to have a plan, like literally have a plan of what you want to do, but be okay for the universe to like grab your plan and like, no, you're going to now work through this. Fine. I know what I want. Right. I'm still going to go for it. You know what I mean? And there's going to be times where it's like you're going up and then you drop, boom. And you're going up and you drop, boom. And you have to be okay with that. Again, from the metaphysical standpoint on that, that is the DNA. Like that's the double helix. Like that literally is the up and down. Like we are that source of darkness and light, of up and down, of ebb and flow. Like it is us. But yet we have all these expectations because now even more so we see what's on social media. I'm like, oh, our lives have to be this way, and I have to be doing this because they're doing this. No, like they're doing their thing. You do your thing. You tap into yourself. You use your resources and what feels right to you. But also realize though that there are going to be ups and downs. It's just how it works. You get what I'm saying? Like that's how it works. And once you're okay with that, actually last summer I was dealing with something with my first time. I ever actually experienced a form of depression. Didn't even believe it was possible. I was like, it's just a state of mind. Like, you choose to be depressed. I was depressed, and I didn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't know why, but I was so pulled away from my purpose and questioning myself. And it was literally like they call it like in the spiritual arena. It's called the dark night of the soul, and it's nobody's there. You make phone calls, nobody picks up. Like literally, you're alone. You feel alone at least, and it's just this inner war that's going on. And once I got through that, and what got me through that, and I hope if somebody's experiencing this might help you. What got me through that is realizing that for every up, there's a down. For every push, there's a pull. No matter what, like there has to be that balance. Like there has to be that. The wave that comes in is going right back out. And once that clicked, I was like, oh my God. And then plus I was doing research on the double helix and realizing that all in nature, it has the same exact sign. The two serpents intertwining and whatnot, where you see like on doctor offices and whatnot, it's all there. It's all around us, showing us that, it's just a part of nature. It's just a part of life. And so I stopped being a crybaby over the downs and I got through it. And I was like, I get it now. And sorry, I chopped out. So anyways, that was a little bit sidetracked off of what we're talking about. But,
perfect.
Yeah. All good, man.
Cool. So I'm loving it. So let's start wrapping it up with what people can do right now to improve their conscious lifestyle choices and, resources that you think people should be accessing, whether it's themselves or places they should be going or things that they should be doing. What else do we need to know?
Oh, well, first of all, you should go follow Think, THINC_.
Yes.
Talking about resources.
Yes.
Come there. Get on my mailing list. There's a link on there. Sign up, and I'll send you the first newsletter, and I'm going to take you through an amazing journey. Go ahead, Chris.
Dude, I want to pause you real quick because your freaking brand is unlike any other. And for anybody who's out there listening, like, go follow this page. Follow Rob. Follow Think, just to see amazing pieces of art that are so unique and so incredible and so inspiring. I swear, when I first started following you, I was like, dude, this artwork, this feeling, this vibration is different than anything else. And I so appreciate the time and the energy and the care that you put into your content because it is world freaking class, dude.
Thank you, man. I still remember that day you reached out to me. I still remember that day.
Man.
That was a couple of years ago.
Dude, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, back to your question, what can people do now? I believe that from my own perspective, again, is to get clear on what you want. Like, get clear on what you want to achieve. And don't get sidetracked by the how. How is this going to happen? Every single day, wake up in the morning, go straight to your desk, write down whatever comes to mind. Like, write down. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to come, a lot of people say, oh, I want to have, this big house and I want to do this. And that's fine. It's totally fine. But what I suggest is just to be in that state of flow, because when you wake up, your mind isn't always bouncing around right away. It takes usually about 2 minutes for it to start boom, boom, going everywhere. But try to write down whatever comes to mind. And what I've realized now, that the things that I thought I wanted, I don't want them. Like, I want some more simpler things, but nice things, like an amazing lifestyle, but not what I thought I wanted. And a lot of it's now has to do with travel, like just travel and being self-expressed and taking this to a different level. And I've been doing this exercise now for a while, where I just write down everything I can in the morning, ideas, whatever it is, and it's allowed me to tune into really what's true to myself. And I don't feel out of place. I don't feel like I'm chasing these things and reaching them and achieving them and being totally unfulfilled. Wow. So that's one thing. A second thing is, when you do identify what it is that you want, no matter what it is, if it's a sum of money, if it's, I don't know, if you want a destination, a certain job, get down to the root of why you want it. Like, what is it about it that you want? And tap into that root, that feeling. Because that feeling, they call it essence, or I call it essence. Like, the essence of whatever it is actually what you want to experience. And it might not be the actual object or the physical attainment, but it's what's backing that. It's the essence of it. And so when you tap into the essence of it, like, let's say whatever it is, like, let's say you're like, I really, really, really want to go to Peru. And okay, what is it about Peru that you want to experience? Like, I just want to have this feeling of adventure, and I want to have fun, and I want to be challenged, and I want to see this beautiful whatever. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, I feel good, I feel alive. Let's say that's what it is, alive. Cool. So you want to feel alive. Maybe you don't want to go to Peru, maybe you do, but you definitely want to feel alive. Can you feel alive right now? That's the essence. And so once you start feeling alive and being alive, you start attracting things to you that were out of your radar. Like, it literally was off your radar screen. And you're like, whoa, oh my God, I'm doing this now. I didn't know I liked sailing. Like something random, right? But it's about tapping into the essence.
And I think I want to speak to that real quick is we may have associated physical worldly things with this essence that we want, that we didn't know how to verbalize, that we didn't know how to categorize and say, well, it's really love, it's really adventure, it's really connection, it's really gratitude that I'm really looking for, whatever it is. And we associate something to it because that's what we think it is, and then when we get to the essence, then we're actually able to say, okay, well, now that I know that that's what it is, as long as I be that, I can trust that as long as I'm being that, I will be guided to the right things that I should be doing or would enjoy, that are in alignment with that.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. That was perfectly articulated right there. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, those that I suggest. Another resource, there's a really good book called The Secret of the Ages. Okay. If you're into this conscious and learning how to master your mind, Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier is by far the best book I've ever read. I have it on Audible too, so I've listened to it like 20-something times. Like, it is a beautiful written book, but it teaches you how to master your mind. It's amazing, mind-blowing. Wow. So, yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Beautiful, man. And where are we going to see you over the coming months and years, bro?
I'm glad you asked that. So I have an event coming up in LA, in Culver City. Yeah, it's a small little event. There's going to be 2 panels and then just a networking event to connect with people. And I'm also actually in the talks of having another event. It's a separate event in New York, most likely before the end of the year. And that's going to be on a different scale. I'm just getting my feet wet with this and figuring out how to run this and make all the mistakes I can now. And yeah, right. Yeah, you have to get that out of the way. I also have a book coming out at the end of the year. 365 Days to Think. Basically, it's going to be just the gathering of all my writings, and I'm going to add a lot more to it. So that way people can have like a little coffee table book. Dude. Which was, yeah. So those 2 things for sure are coming up. Anything else? Nothing else I can think of right now. Oh, yeah, and then Yeah, no, that's it. That's it right now.
In terms of people who want to work with you or get a hold of you, is there anything specifically that you enjoy helping people do, or if they wanted to reach out to you, what they could expect they would get, kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's the other thing. I actually wrote this down on the board so I wouldn't forget. My website is about to be released before the event on the 27th, and you can actually find that by following me. I posted up my storyline, but my website's gonna have all my coaching services. I have private clients that I coach, so I'm actually about to go public with it and put myself out there and help myself or help more people on a little bit scale. So at thereisnoceiling@gmail.com. That's a simple one. I think you can remember. And reach out to me. Just get connected with me. And if you do follow the brand, I will be blowing it up with my coaching and whatnot. Because I so believe, and this is just from working with many people. I see them like take quantum leaps, like from here to here, and in such a short period of time, where I'm just like, whoa, wow, it's beautiful. Like, it literally brings tears in my eyes because it's like I'm able to open something up, you know. So I'm really excited about that. I'm stoked about that. So,
dude, so awesome. And then social media, you got Instagram, think_, in Facebook, you got your group, Conscious Creators. Anything else that we should know about?
Yeah, just Conscious Creators Think Up, and then YouTube. That actually, so the other part to that is that I'm going to be building what's in the works. The text is in the works for the videos. I'm having a video series that's coming out, so it's going to be like an online store. So then I'm going to be like really ramping it up in YouTube. So I have a YouTube channel on there. I have a few videos up. Think TV. Okay. So I'm really excited about that too because I love being in front of the camera, and I'm going to be executing that and just sharing my mind on those videos. So look out for me. You can actually subscribe now, Think TV, and then for the videos that I'll be coming out with as well. So.
Love it. Rob, you are a freaking powerhouse, dude. Thank you for coming on here, and honestly, thank you for everything that you do in the world. You are you're a star. You're a freaking like a supernova of light for people, awakening consciousness, and I am so looking forward to the coming years and decades to see what you are creating, what you're up to, because you're already at such a powerful start so early on, man. So keep up the great work and keep making impact, putting people first, and trusting yourself, and just being a badass, man.
Thanks, brother. That means the world, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, dude. So we'll see you soon. Have the best day ever. Keep rocking it. Take care, man.
All right, dude. Later, man. Thanks for having me.
Take care, brother.